world recession is now starting to dissipate. We've made the break out of it. America's starting to turn. It won't be that long before the Japanese economy starts to turn, and hopefully we'll be away and running in the 90s in a low inflationary period of prosperity. And we've never... Yes, and no GST. I can assure you the government will now be redoubling its efforts to be as good a government as you hope and expect we can be, to be as conscientious with this mandate as we possibly can be, to give it our every effort, our every shot, to see that we recover quickly and we get going and we put this recessionary period behind us and we get this country of opportunity off and running, but keeping the opportunity there for everybody. Keeping those great nostrums of access and equity, getting people into the game, the policies of inclusion, the policies of one nation. And that's what it's got to be about. So can I say again, this is a tremendous victory. It's a tremendous victory for all those who've got imagination and faith. The people who believe in things, who are not going to let good beliefs be put asunder for essentially miserable ideas to divide the place up. I mean, I think the Australian people have always had such remarkable sense to spot the value and to cut their way through it. Now, part of this victory is ours. Part of it is them spotting what they think were the danger in the Liberal Party's policies. What I hope is at the next election, the victory is 100% due to the good government of the Labor Party. Now, I'd like to start thanking some people, and the first person I'd like to start with is my wife Anita, who's helped me right through this campaign. Thank you. And can I also say, could I give an extra special note of thanks to the women of Australia who voted for us, believing in the policies of this government. I want to pay a particular thanks also to... Good on you, mate. I want to pay a particular thanks to the architects of this victory, my personal staff. Don Russell, Mark Ryan, Don Watson, my press secretaries and the rest, but most particularly to those people in the Labor Party who never lose faith, never lose heart, and are there at the polling booths to work and to fight for good things. Thank you. The people who never give up, that always keep on believing and are always there, no matter how heavy the travails may be. To you I say, thank you very, very much indeed. Thank you again, and thank you for believing. But could I most particularly, and again finally, thank the Australian people, without whose faith and decency and commitment to what's fair and what's reasonable and what is decent in this country, without those conscientious judgments, this victory could not have been consummated and put together. Thank you. Thank you. Can I conclude on this note? So I conclude this note and say, we thank you, we appreciate it, we won't let you down. Thank you.
Well, I don't think we've heard the Prime Minister, Mr Paul Keating, in such a confident or convincing mood for some time. But then there is a large weight off his shoulders tonight, is there not? He's just been elected as Prime Minister in his own right, something that he'd really been cherishing. Well, he's now got that prize. As he said, it had been a very tough campaign, very tough indeed, and no quarter was spared by either side at times. Indeed, no quarter was spared by the Prime Minister just then. He didn't observe the usual tradition of allowing the opposition leader or the loser in the election to concede defeat. He decided he would go ahead and claim victory, which all the evidence says is his anyway. We have heard that Dr Hewson will be making a statement in about 10 minutes or so from now. I'm sure, Gareth Evans, that in savouring this victory, as you're entitled to do at the moment, a man of your intelligence... Oh, hang on, there's an encore here. We might have to go back to the floor. Just a few more stage bows from the Prime Minister. I think he's leaving us now. But you obviously would be savouring the moment of victory, Gareth Evans, but is there not a sad note in the fact that the Prime Minister then was talking about Mr Hewson wanting to divide the country? That was the way he was characterising his policies. But is it not sad that a man who was prepared not to play the usual political game of playing it safe, not really declaring his hand, not really putting strong policies forward, did get rejected like that, irrespective of the merit of the policies?
Well, I think it was a speech of great grace and great stature from Paul, and he emphasised in that speech the themes that we have been pushing throughout the campaign. It was a hard story to sell because it did involve essentially asking people to give us a vote of confidence in a set of policies that we argued were working and coming into place. There wasn't anything wholly negative about our campaign. Obviously, we made much of what we saw to be the divisive impact of industrial relations policies and the inappropriate impact of GST and all the rest of it. But I think John Hewson just made the wrong call. It was an ideological choice he made to go down that particular radical, tough-minded, divisive road. I don't feel any sympathy for him.
In the past, the Labor Party's often accused the Conservatives, if you like, of being wishy-washy, of not being prepared to really lay out the ground and say where they stood. This man certainly did.
Yeah, but I don't think we could be expected to applaud laying out the ground in terms that were stark but appalling and utterly against the interests of the Australian people. I mean, I don't think this is the occasion to be scoring any partisan points now. I don't want to. And I thought Paul said what had to be said about the nature of the campaign and what we stood for in a very graceful and dignified way. I mean, I think he's broken the sound barrier in a way now. He's come through, he's emerged, he's got a mandate in his own right, not just as a politician, but as a Prime Minister. It was an extraordinarily statesmanlike speech, I thought, and he's going to be very, very hard to beat now.